A single father went to buy a bigger house, but the real estate agent fell in love when she saw him. The engine of Ryan's blue Harley-Davidson stopped roaring in front of the white colonial house, the dust settling around the wheels. He turned off the motor, and sitting on the seat behind him was Hannah, her little arms still firmly clutching his waist. "Daddy, is this it? Is this going to be our new house?" "Maybe, sweetheart. We're just looking today." Ryan took off his helmet while examining the property. The house was imposing. The afternoon sky was beautiful, its porch promising lazy Sunday mornings and the kind of peace they both desperately needed. Behind the house, fields stretched toward the distant trees, and he could already imagine Hannah running through that grass in the sunlight and playing again, because the last months would have been different after he received news that his stocks that he had bought for Hannah's future had appreciated absurdly. The stocks of an oil company had appreciated something around 3,000 times. They discovered an oil well. He had been buying the stocks every month for the last 7 years. Imagine what happened. Ryan was the new millionaire. He helped Hannah get off the motorcycle. Quickly she ran on the gravel driveway with her little brown boots. She was wearing her favorite yellow dress today, the one with little white flowers that she insisted on wearing to do anything important. But Ryan didn't have the heart to complain about it, because this house would be a part of joy that had been extinguished in those blue eyes in recent years. A little dust was nothing. Her mother had left them when she was a baby. Frustrated with his professional performance, Ryan was a janitor who earned little, but always said he would have his own business. "Remember what we talked about, Hannabelle?" he said, crouching down to her level and adjusting the collar of her dress. "We're going to meet a real estate agent. That means we need to be polite, use our best manners, and I can't touch everything I see." Hannah sighed. Her manner made Ryan smile. "But Daddy, what if there are really cool things inside? Then you can look with your eyes, not with your hands." He touched her nose gently, earning a giggle. "Deal? Deal." Hannah extended her pinky finger, and Ryan wrapped his larger finger around it. These small gestures of love and affection had become their lifeline. Small moments of connection. When Sarah died, it became more intense. A car entered the driveway behind them, an elegant silver Mercedes that looked like it cost more than Ryan earned. He straightened up, automatically brushing the dust off his jeans, even though he had changed out of his work uniform before coming. The blue maintenance uniform and yellow gloves were at home, replaced by his best jeans and a clean dress shirt, but he still felt underdressed somehow. The driver's door opened, and the woman who emerged was stunning in a way that went beyond simple beauty. Blonde hair in perfect waves beyond her shoulders. She wore a pink blazer over white shorts, matching with expensive white heels. Even on the gravel driveway she walked with elegance. But it was her eyes that paralyzed him. Blue like a summer sky. Impressive when she looked and widened her eyes, something different. There was something familiar about her face. Something he couldn't remember what it was. "Mr. Walker?" Her voice was soft, professional, but Ryan could swear he heard it falter slightly on his name. "I'm Celeste Davenport from Davenport Luxury Properties. It's a pleasure to meet you." She extended her hand, and Ryan found himself walking forward to shake it, conscious of Hannah pressing against his leg, shy. The moment she touched his hand, she quickly pulled it back again. His hand was rough from day-to-day work, her hand skin very soft, and those eyes, with an intensity that made him want to look away and never stop looking at the same time. "Mrs. Davenport, thank you for meeting with us. This is my little daughter, Hannah." Celeste's gaze descended to Hannah, and something extraordinary happened. Hannah smiled and waited. Celeste crouched down, bringing herself to Hannah's level with a grace that made Hannah hug her. Something Hannah didn't do, Ryan noticed. Felt awkward, but Celeste returned it and gave a little kiss on her forehead and said, "You're beautiful, you know. And your yellow dress, what a beautiful dress. Pink is my favorite color, you know." Hannah smiled. She wasn't shy. "Mine is yellow." Celeste's smile, and the natural connection between the two, was genuine now, completely transforming her face. "My name is Celeste, but my friends call me Cel. Do you like houses, Hannah?" "I like houses with big yards. Daddy said maybe we can get a puppy if we move somewhere with more space." Hannah was excited. "Do you know if this house has a yard for puppies?" "Well, why don't we look together? I think you'll discover it's perfect for puppies." Celeste stood up and her eyes met Ryan's again. Shall we? Ryan, let's go. There was something about this woman that disturbed him in ways he couldn't name. As they walked toward the front porch, he found himself casting sidelong glances at her profile, at the way the sun illuminated her, at the light tan on her skin that suggested she spent a lot of time outdoors. This property has been on the market for about 6 months, Celeste was saying. Ryan wasn't listening to anything because he was mesmerized by her beauty. Her voice was softer than her hands as she unlocked the front door with a key. It's 111 square meters, 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms. The previous owners kept it beautifully but moved for work. The price is excellent for the area, especially considering the 2 hectares that come with it. She pushed the door, and Ryan again with his keen nose quickly captured the aroma of her perfume. Jasmine, sweet and soft perfume. He was confident because from janitor he was the new millionaire. His chest was puffed up, but only he knew. He followed her inside where he saw there was a window. He stood against the wind to feel her perfume again, Hannah's hand firmly in hers, and he got excited and dreamed, imagining what a beautiful wife this woman would be. Hannah already likes her. I just need to do my part. He tried to concentrate on the house instead of the way Celeste walked. Perfectly. The interior was exactly what he expected. Hardwood floors that shone in the afternoon light coming through large windows. A spacious living room that opened to a country kitchen. Everything clean and welcoming and ready for a new beginning. But Ryan found himself constantly distracted by Celeste as she moved through the space, pointing out features with graceful gestures. The kitchen was renovated 3 years ago, she was saying. All appliances are included. And if you look over here, she led them to the back of the house where a wall of windows revealed the extensive backyard and the fields beyond. This is what really makes the property special. Daddy, look. Hannah pressed her nose against the glass. There's so much space, a puppy could run forever out there. A puppy could definitely run forever, Ryan agreed, moving to stand beside his daughter. He could see it so clearly. Hannah running through that grass, a dog jumping beside her, both laughing, him joining them, teaching Hannah how to throw a ball properly, the way he had been wanting to do but never seemed to have the energy in the cramped apartment near the hotel. Would you like to see the bedrooms? Celeste's voice was soft, almost hesitant. When Ryan turned to look at her, she was watching him. She led them upstairs, pointing out the master bedroom with its private bathroom, then the 2 smaller bedrooms that shared a bathroom in the hallway. Hannah immediately claimed the bedroom with the window seat overlooking the backyard, climbing into it and pressing her face against the glass. This one is mine, Daddy. I can sit here and read and watch the birds and everything. Ryan got emotional. He never imagined his wishes would come true so quickly. He couldn't look at the apartment anymore because it was the same place where Hannah was born, and his ex-wife had left him behind. Every corner of that apartment had her ghost. It's a wonderful room for a little girl, Celeste said softly beside him. She had come to stand near him at the door, close enough that he could feel the warmth radiating from her. I had a bedroom with a window seat when I was young. Before, she stopped and looked at him. Was she saying she was young? But you're very young. Did you grow up around here? Ryan asked, something in his instinct telling him this was important, that he needed to know the answer. A long time ago. Her smile was sad, distant. I lived in Riverside until I was 15. Then my family. Circumstances changed and we moved to Boston. I only came back a year ago. Riverside, Ryan's hometown. He had grown up there, gone to Riverside High. Spent all his youth in that small town before moving to the city for work. Something clicked in his memory, but he still hadn't made the exact connection. Daddy, can we see the backyard? Hannah was already running toward them, her shyness completely gone. She grabbed Celeste's hand without hesitation. Celeste with the contact, her eyes suddenly bright with unshed tears. Of course, dear, Celeste said, her voice thick. She cleared her throat, composing herself. Let's look at your future puppy kingdom. They went back down and out through the back door to a wooden deck that overlooked the property. Hannah immediately ran down the steps into the grass, spinning in circles with her arms outstretched. Celeste and Ryan stood on the deck watching her, and for a moment, the professional boundaries between realtor and client fell away completely. She's beautiful, Celeste said softly. She has your eyes, but that blonde hair? Her mother must have been lovely. Ryan's throat tightened. Sarah. Her name was Sarah. She left us 9 years ago. One day she was fine, making pancakes and laughing, and the next she had moved away, left her as a baby with me, wrote a letter, said it wasn't the kind of life she wanted, it wasn't what she had dreamed of. He couldn't finish the sentence. He never could. Celeste's hand found his arm, a gentle pressure that somehow conveyed more sympathy than any words could. I'm sorry, Ryan. I can't imagine how difficult that must be. The way she said his name, Ryan, not Mr. Walker, sent another jolt of recognition through him. He turned to face her completely. Looking at her face, seeing her lips move, he saw everything in slow motion. He noticed a small mark in the corner of her lips. It was a charm. He felt she wasn't a stranger. Do I know you? I mean, besides just today. There's something about you that's so familiar. Her face went pale, then flushed pink. For a long moment she didn't respond, just stared at him with those ocean blue eyes that seemed to contain entire worlds of secrets. When she finally spoke, her voice barely passed a whisper. Riverside High, class of 2002. I was Celeste Morrison. The name hit him like a blow to his chest. Celeste Morrison. The girl with the brightest smile in school. The one who sat behind him in chemistry class and helped him study for tests even though she herself was struggling. The girl who shared her lunch with him when he forgot his. The girl he had kissed behind the bleachers after the back-to-school game in freshman year. Both 15 years old and terrified and exultant at the same time. The girl who... Kel, he whispered, and it was like saying a spell that transformed everything. Suddenly he could see the 15-year-old girl in this sophisticated and poised woman. The same eyes, but not as bright and happy as those of that time. The same lightness in her smile, although it was guarded now where before it was open. My God. Cel Morrison. I wasn't sure if you'd remember. Her voice was trembling now. It's been 23 years and I look different, and you look exactly the same, just... She raised her hand as if to touch his face, then stopped, lowering her hand. Just more. More? He couldn't stop staring at her. Couldn't reconcile this wealthy and polished woman with the girl who used to wear second-hand jeans and helped him fix his motorcycle in her garage. More everything. More handsome, more solid, more real. She laughed, but it sounded close to a sob. I looked for you, you know. When I came back, I wanted to get in touch so many times, but I didn't know how. I didn't know if you'd even want to see me after how I left. How you left. The old hurt surged up, surprising him with its intensity after all these years. You disappeared, you just vanished. Your house was empty and no one explained anything to me. I thought I had done something wrong. I thought you hated me. No! The word burst from her with desperate urgency. She grabbed both his arms, her grip surprisingly strong. God, no, Ryan, it was never you, it was never anything you did. My father... She stopped, looking away with intense concentration. My father arranged a marriage for me. He found out about us, about that kiss, and decided I needed to be removed from bad influences. I was sent to a boarding school in Boston the next day. I wasn't allowed to say goodbye to anyone. I wasn't allowed to contact anyone from Riverside. Ryan cried because he was already in a turbulence of emotions in his head from recent events. An arranged marriage? Cel, you were 15 years old. The arrangement was made then. The actual marriage happened when I turned 18. Her voice was flat now, reciting facts as if they had happened to someone else. Gerald Davenport, heir to the Davenport Hotel empire. My father had a small chain of motels. Gerald's family wanted to expand into our territory. I was part of the deal. Jesus Christ. Ryan wanted to pull her into his arms, wanted to go back in time and protect that 15-year-old girl from what was to come. And your husband. Ex-husband. The correction was sharp. I divorced him a year ago, came back here to manage the Melbrook property, part of the settlement. Gerald is in prison now for embezzlement and fraud. It turns out that marrying me wasn't the only unethical business practice he was involved in. The pieces were falling into place now. The sadness in her eyes, the vulnerability beneath the polish, the way she had looked at Hannah with such longing. And do you have children? No, Gerald didn't want children. He wanted a trophy wife who could smile for cameras and organize parties and never ask questions about his business practices. When I finally confronted him, said I wanted a divorce and a life of my own, he made sure everyone knew that I was that one, that I wasn't enough. She turned to face him completely, her eyes now shining with defiance and hurt. So yes, Ryan Walker, I'm CEO of a hotel empire. I live alone in a mansion and I drive a Mercedes. But I'd trade it all in a heartbeat for one day of the life I had when I was 15. Sitting in your chemistry class, pretending I didn't know the answers, just so you'd explain them in that patient way you had. The confession hung in the air, raw and honest. Ryan's mind was spinning. This woman, this incredible, totally beautiful woman, his Celeste. The first girl he loved, even though he was too young and stupid to know that's what it was at the time. Daddy! Hannah's voice broke the mood. She was running toward them, her hands cupped around something. Daddy, look what I found. Ryan turned, his mind still processing everything Celeste had said. Hannah climbed the deck steps almost breathless and opened her hands. A small butterfly. Its blue wings, it quickly escaped from her hands trying to fly. It's hurt, Daddy. Its wing is missing a piece. Can we help it? Ryan knelt down, observing the butterfly. Yes. One wing was torn. Hanging. Oh, sweetheart, I don't think there's anything we can do for it. It's too delicate. But we have to try. Hannah's eyes were filling with tears. Hannah, sometimes things are too broken to fix, Ryan said gently, hating every word. Sometimes we just have to let nature. Wait. Celeste was suddenly kneeling beside them, her perfume radiating as she leaned close. Hannah, may I see? Hannah carefully transferred the butterfly to Celeste's open palm. Celeste looked at it with surprising knowledge, gently touching the torn wing with a manicured finger. This is a morpho butterfly, she said softly. They're usually found in Central and South America, which means this little one is very far off course. But you know what? Sometimes when their wings are damaged but not completely torn, they can still fly. It just takes time and the right conditions. Really? Hope blossomed in Hannah's voice. So we can save it? We can give it a chance. Celeste stood up carefully, the butterfly still in her palm. There's a greenhouse attached to the garage. We could put it there with some sugar water and flowers. If it's going to recover, that's the best place for it. Can we, Daddy? Please? Hannah was bouncing on her toes now, all trace of tears gone. Ryan found himself unable to deny either his daughter or the woman who had just reappeared in his life like a ghost made flesh. Yes, sweetheart. Let's give the butterfly a chance. Celeste walked around the side of the house to a small greenhouse he hadn't noticed before. Inside, it was warm and humid, full of gardening equipment and some struggling plants that the previous owners had left behind. Celeste found a small dish, mixed sugar and water from a garden hose, and created a small habitat in a corner with Hannah's enthusiastic assistance. She placed the butterfly near the sugar water and they watched as it slowly began to drink, its damaged wing trembling slightly. Will she be okay? Hannah asked, her nose inches from the butterfly. I don't know, dear, Celeste said honestly, but we gave her the best chance we could. Sometimes that's all we can do. Give things a chance and hope for the best. Her eyes met Ryan's over Hannah's head, and the message was clear. She wasn't just talking about the butterfly. They stayed in the greenhouse for almost an hour, Hannah bombarding Celeste with questions about butterflies, houses, and everything else. Celeste answered each question with patience and genuine interest, and Ryan found himself falling under her spell again. This was the girl he remembered. Curious, kind, with a depth of knowledge about random things that came from really caring about the world around her. But she was also a new woman, who had been mistreated by circumstances beyond her control, and had somehow rebuilt herself. Hannah, we should probably let Miss Davenport get back to her other appointments, Ryan finally said, though he wanted to stay in this greenhouse forever, watching his daughter bond with the woman who had been his first love. Do you have other appointments? Hannah asked Celeste directly with that mysterious perception that children sometimes have. Celeste's smile was soft and genuine. Not today, but your father is right. You've been very patient, and I'm sure you're getting hungry. It's almost dinner time. We usually have dinner at 6, Hannah announced. Daddy makes the best grilled cheese. And sometimes we also have tomato soup if I've been very good. That sounds wonderful, Celeste said, with a hunger that had nothing to do with food. You're very lucky to have a daddy who cooks for you. I'm lucky. Hannah grabbed Ryan's hand, then surprised them both by also grabbing Celeste's hand. Are you hungry, ma'am? You could come with us. Daddy always makes extra to eat later. Ryan's heart stopped. He opened his mouth to save Celeste from the embarrassing invitation, to give some excuse. But she spoke first. I'd love to, she said softly, her eyes fixed on their joined hands, his rough and calloused, hers soft but with surprising strength, and Hannah's small and perfect between them. If your father doesn't mind, of course. She lived in a different world from his. This wasn't some teenage romance they could pick up where they left off. They were adults now with histories and responsibilities and wounds that might never completely heal. Ryan still had the thought that he was a janitor. He still hadn't gotten used to the stocks and that now he could frequent the same places as her. Yes, that would be good. Our place isn't fancy or anything, but I don't want fancy, Celeste interrupted. I've had enough fancy to last 3 lifetimes. I just want something real. So it was decided. They left the butterfly to its recovery, locked up the house, and made their way back to the driveway. Celeste offered to follow them in her Mercedes, and Ryan found himself driving his Harley with heightened awareness, conscious of her headlights behind them, as they made their way back toward the city. Their apartment was in an older building near the Melbrook Hotel, convenient for his work, affordable on his salary, but nothing like the house they had just visited. When Ryan pulled into the parking lot, he felt embarrassed about what Celeste would think of his modest home. He still hadn't realized she was his CEO at the Melbrooks Hotel, but when she parked next to them and got out of her car, there was no judgment in her eyes, only curiosity and something that looked like relief. It's here, Ryan said, helping Hannah off the motorcycle. 3rd floor, no elevator. I hope you don't mind stairs. I love stairs, Celeste said, smiling. It's good exercise. Hannah grabbed Celeste's hand again, chattering about their apartment as they climbed the stairs. Ryan followed behind, watching his daughter bond with Celeste with surprising speed. Hannah had been shy with adults since Sarah left, reserved and careful with her trust. Seeing her open up like this with this particular woman seemed like some kind of sign. Their apartment was small but clean. Ryan had made sure of that before they left. 2 bedrooms, 1 bathroom, a living room that also served as a dining room, and a kitchen big enough for 1 person. Photos on the walls only of Hannah. You're a good father, Ryan. The compliment settled warm in his chest. I'm trying. Some days are better than others. That's all any of us can do. Try. She took off her heels, leaving them by the door, and suddenly seemed years younger, her delicate manicured toes more like the girl he remembered. You promised the best grilled cheese in the world. I'm going to hold you to that. Ryan couldn't help but smile. Hannah may have exaggerated a bit. No way, Daddy, your grilled cheese is the best. Hannah was already rummaging through the cabinet for the soup pot. Miss Celeste, do you like tomato soup? You have to have tomato soup with grilled cheese, it's the rule. I love tomato soup, Celeste said, pulling up the sleeves of her pink blazer. Can I help? For the next 45 minutes, Ryan's small kitchen became something magical. He worked at the stove, grilling the cheese while Celeste heated the soup and set the small table with Hannah's guidance. They moved around each other with ease, and more than once Ryan caught himself staring at Celeste. They ate at the tiny table, Hannah between them, and it felt like a family of years eating together. Celeste praised the grilled cheese with genuine enthusiasm, making Hannah laugh with pleasure. They talked about small things, Hannah's favorite subjects at school, the butterfly they had rescued, memories of Riverside that seemed distant. After dinner, while Ryan washed the dishes and Celeste dried, she had insisted, ignoring his protests. Hannah brought her collection of drawings. I like to draw, she explained to Celeste, spreading papers across the coffee table. Mostly animals, and sometimes Daddy on his motorcycle. And sometimes Mommy, but Daddy gets sad when I draw Mommy, so I don't do it as much anymore. Ryan's hands stopped in the soapy water. Celeste looked at him. I bet your Mommy loved your drawings, Celeste said, sitting on the floor next to Hannah. And I bet she'd want you to keep drawing her even if it makes Daddy sad sometimes. Sometimes being sad is how we remember how much we loved someone. Really? Hannah looked at Celeste with wide eyes. Really? I have someone I lost too. Not in the same way you lost your mommy, but lost in just as complete a way. And sometimes I allow myself to be sad about it because it reminds me that what we had was real and important and worth remembering. Ryan's throat tightened. He knew exactly who she was talking about. The girl she had been. The life she lost when her father ripped her away from everything she knew. Hannah considered this seriously. Can I draw you, Miss Celeste? Celeste's eyes shone with tears. It would be an honor. Ryan finished the dishes, then joined them in the living room, watching as Hannah drew with intense concentration, her tongue sticking out slightly the way Sarah's used to when she was focused. Celeste sat perfectly still, though Ryan could see emotion passing across her face. Joy, sadness, longing, hope, all mixed together. When Hannah finished, she held up the drawing proudly. It showed 3 stick figures, one tall with dark hair, one small with a yellow dress, and one medium with yellow hair and a pink jacket, all holding hands. It's us today, Hannah explained, at the new house with the butterfly. Celeste took the drawing with trembling hands. It's perfect, Hannah. May I keep it? Really? You want to keep my drawing? Hannah was jumping with happiness. I do. I'm going to hang it in my office, and every time I look at it, I'll remember today. Ryan watched them, his mind already imagining the new family. This day had started as a simple house visit and had transformed into something he couldn't imagine, the chance to recover something he thought he had lost forever. At 8 o'clock, Hannah started yawning, fighting sleep the way she always did. Bedtime, sweetheart, Ryan said. But Miss Celeste is still here, Hannah protested. And Miss Celeste needs to go home, Ryan said. Deep in his heart, he wished she would stay. Say goodnight. Hannah extended her arms to Celeste with affection. Will we see you again? Celeste hugged her back. When she pulled away, her eyes were wet. I hope so, dear. If it's okay with your daddy. It's okay with Daddy, Hannah said. Right, Daddy. Ryan immediately said yes. I'm very well. Even more so if it's to see Miss Celeste, and smiled. He took Hannah to her room, dressed her in pajamas, and listened to her excited chatter about the house, the butterfly. He read 3 pages of their current book before her eyes finally closed, and Hannah slept with the beautiful face of an innocent child. When he returned to the living room, Celeste was standing by the window, looking at the city lights. She had put her heels back on but looked tired now. I should go, she said without turning. Thank you for dinner, for letting me into your evening. I know I essentially invited myself in. Cello. He crossed to stand beside her at the window. I'm glad you came. Hannah loved it. And he paused, trying to find the right words. I thought I'd never see you again. I thought that part of my life was closed forever. And then you came back into it, and it's like finding something I didn't know I'd lost. She turned to face him. I thought about you so many times over the years, Ryan. I wondered what happened to you. If you were happy. If you'd found someone to love who really deserved you, Ryan said to Celeste. I see her, Ryan said softly. I see her right now, that 15-year-old girl from school. And I also see the woman you've become. Someone who went through hell and came out the other side. I see that you still have the same gentleness and even care about injured butterflies. He extended his hand, his calloused hand gently holding her face. I don't hate you, Cel. I never could. She leaned into his touch, her eyes closing. Friends, she repeated, opening her eyes. I'd like that. Although I should warn you, I'm not very good at having friends. Gerald made sure I didn't maintain many friendships. He said it was better for us. Then we'll learn together. Hannah and I aren't exactly social butterflies these days either. They stood there for a long moment, faces close, and Ryan felt the attraction between them like something physical. It would be so easy to close the distance, kiss her the way he had kissed her decades ago behind the bleachers. But they weren't teenagers anymore, and the stakes were much higher. Celeste seemed to feel it too. She took a step back and the mood broke. I really should go. I have an early meeting tomorrow and you probably have work. Yes, but I'm leaving. I'm going to resign tomorrow. Don't be surprised. I need to tell you something you don't know yet. Let's go to the door. I made an investment sell and I was surprised by the appreciation of the stocks this year. I bought stocks in an oil company on the stock exchange. But tomorrow I'll tell you the details. That's why I'm looking for a new house. You have no idea how my life has been during these 3 months. I'm very excited. But what I'm still not processing is the fact that you appeared. We meet again, but tomorrow we'll talk more. How about a walk? Celeste, still paralyzed by what she had just heard, said, "Let's go, it's a deal, good night." And she gave him a kiss on his cheek, leaving a lipstick mark. At the door she paused, her hand on the doorknob. "The house. Do you want it?" I need to think about it. Doing the math is a big decision," he said, smiling. Celeste understood the joking tone. "Do the math? You're a millionaire now, Ryan. Good night." And she smiled and gave another kiss on the other side of his cheek, smiling, and marked him again with lipstick. She searched for a business card in her purse, then wrote something on the back. "This is my office number. And that one," she turned it over, "is my personal cell. Call me. I'll call. Promise?" Her voice was faltering. "I promise." Then she slipped out the door, and Ryan watched from the window as she walked away, the taillights of the Mercedes disappearing down the road. He stood there for a long time after she left, holding her card, trying to process everything that had happened. 20 years. 20 years since he'd seen Celeste Morrison, since he lost his first love without understanding why. And now she was back. And she wasn't just Cell anymore, she was Celeste Davenport, CEO, his employer. Ryan moved to the couch, lay down on the worn cushions that still had a mark from where Celeste had sat. He turned the business card over in his hands, studying her elegant handwriting on the back. The cell phone number was written in slightly shaky handwriting, as if her hand had trembled when she wrote it. His phone vibrated in his pocket, startling him. He pulled it out, expecting a message from his sister or maybe his friend Marcus from work. Instead, it was an unknown number. "Thank you for tonight, for letting me come back to you, even if just for a few hours. I haven't felt so much like myself in years." Ryan stared at the message for a long moment, his heart pounding. He typed and deleted 3 different responses before deciding on something simple. "Thank you for coming. Hannah loved you." The response came almost instantly. "She's remarkable. You're raising an incredible little one. Some days I'm not sure I'm doing it right. The fact that you worry about it means you're doing it right. Trust me on that." They exchanged text messages for another hour, falling into the easy rhythm they had as teenagers, when they stayed up late talking about everything and nothing. She told him about the loneliness of her marriage, the relief of her divorce, the strange emptiness of her mansion that never felt like a home. He told her about Sarah, about how Hannah had cried for months and then suddenly stopped, becoming quiet and observant instead. Finally, around midnight, Celeste sent, "I should let you sleep, I've kept you up, it's late." "It was worth it," he replied. "Same time tomorrow? I'm asking if you want to have dinner with me and Hannah again, as friends, who used to kiss behind the bleachers." That last part seems important to mention. In that case, yes. "I'd love to have dinner tomorrow. Should I bring something? Just yourself? Maybe lose the fancy blazer, though. Hannah wants to paint tomorrow and things could get messy. I'll wear something disposable. Good night, Ryan." "Good night, Cell." Ryan fell asleep with the phone in his hand, a smile on his face. The next morning, Ryan woke up with Hannah jumping on his bed, her blonde hair wild around her face. "Daddy, Daddy, wake up. Is Miss Celeste coming back today?" Ryan groaned, looking at his alarm clock. 6:30. He had to be at the hotel at 8. "Yes, sweetheart, she's coming for dinner tonight." "Yes." Hannah punched the air. "Can we make spaghetti? That's fancy, right?" "Sure, we can make spaghetti." Ryan sat up, pulling Hannah into a hug. "But first, Daddy needs coffee, and you need breakfast. Deal?" "Deal." They went through the morning routine, cereal and fruit for Hannah, black coffee and toast for Ryan. He helped her choose her clothes for school, then dropped her off at the elementary school 3 blocks away before heading to the hotel on his Harley. The Mel Brock Hotel was a beautiful building, all glass and steel and modern architecture that somehow managed to look elegant. Ryan had worked there for 5 years. He knew every inch of the place, every temperamental pipe, every squeaky hinge, every light fixture that needed to be jiggled. He went in and went to talk to his supervisor, Tom, who was already reviewing the day's work orders. "Good morning, Walker. I have a full list for you today. The third-floor air conditioning is acting strange again. The penthouse suite needs a new shower. And there's a leak in the East Wing kitchen." Ryan took the clipboard, examining the list. "Standard stuff. Nothing too complicated." "I need some time, Tom. I have new projects. I need you to fire me. Is that okay?" "Today I'll do the work. Because I don't want it to be a surprise. Do you have someone to replace me?" "Are you sure?" Tom asked. "There's a guy who came in a few days ago. He's in training. I can promote him and put him in your place," Ryan said. "I'm sure. Now I'm going up. I want to talk to Mrs. Celeste. Is she there?" Tom said, "Yes, you can go up the elevator." Ryan took the elevator and was standing in front of Celeste's door. He pushed the door and found Celeste sitting behind a massive mahogany desk, her attention focused on a laptop. She was wearing a different blazer today. It was white instead of blue, matched with white pants. Her hair was pulled back in a professional bun and she had reading glasses on her nose. She looked up when he entered, and her whole face transformed. "Ryan." She stood up quickly, removing her glasses. "I didn't expect... I called about the temperature, but I didn't think you'd be the one. Tom sent me." Ryan suddenly felt awkward in his work uniform, so different from the jeans and dress shirt he'd worn the night before. "You said your office is too cold?" "Oh, right. Yes, it's freezing in here." But she was smiling, and her eyes were warm despite her words. "The thermostat is there, but I think it might be broken. It's been reading 22 degrees, but it feels closer to 15. Ryan moved to the thermostat with Celeste watching him. He opened the panel, checking the wiring, and immediately saw the problem. A loose connection that was giving false readings. "Found it, just a loose wire. I can fix it in about 5 minutes. She had moved to stand near him, close enough that he could smell her perfume again. "How is Hannah this morning?" "Excited that you're coming back tonight. She wants to make spaghetti for you." "Spaghetti sounds wonderful." Celeste leaned against the wall watching him work. "Ryan, is this weird for you, me being your boss?" He paused, considering the question. "Honestly? Yes, a little, but I'm not your employee anymore," he said, laughing. "Now I'm a professional investor. If it's a dream, we're both having it." She was quiet for a moment, then said, "Yes. What we were talking about yesterday, shall we go out? Take a walk on the beach?" Ryan finished with the thermostat, testing it to make sure the connection was solid. "Done, it should work properly now. Give it about 20 minutes and the temperature should regulate." "Thank you." She walked him to the door, then hesitated. "Can I show you something?" "Sure." She led him to a small dresser near the window where a single picture frame stood. Hannah's drawing from the night before, the 3 stick figures holding hands. Celeste had already framed it in simple black, and it looked strangely perfect there among all the corporate sophistication. "I wasn't kidding when I said I'd hang it in my office," she said softly. "It's the only personal thing I have here. Everything else is just furniture and obligation. She'll be delighted when I tell her. Will you? Tell her, I mean?" Celeste turned to face him. "That her drawing is in my office, that I look at it and smile. That it's the best thing that's happened to me in years." "Yes," Ryan said softly. "Yes, I'll tell her." They stood there for a long moment, the air between them charged with everything unspoken. "I have a meeting in 5 minutes," she said with obvious reluctance. "We had agreed to walk on the beach. I forgot about the meeting." Ryan said, "It's okay, the dinner is still on for tonight then. 6 o'clock, don't be late or Hannah will kill me." "Wouldn't dream of it." She smiled, and Ryan left before he could do something, like kiss her in her office where anyone could see. The rest of his day passed in a blur. He picked up Hannah from school at 3, listening to her chatter about the day as they rode the Harley back home. They stopped at the supermarket for spaghetti ingredients, and Hannah insisted on choosing fresh flowers for the table. "Because Miss Celeste is fancy, and fancy people like flowers," she explained seriously. By 5:30, the apartment smelled of garlic and tomatoes, and Hannah had set the table with their nicest dishes, mismatched plates he had collected from thrift stores, but clean and carefully arranged. The flowers sat in a glass jar in the center, and Hannah had drawn a new picture to give to Celeste, a butterfly with blue wings. The knock came exactly at 6 o'clock. Ryan opened the door to find Celeste in jeans, real blue jeans, comfortable, and a simple green t-shirt. Her hair was down, wavy and loose, and she held a bottle of wine in one hand and a bag from a local bakery in the other. "I know you said just myself, but I couldn't come empty-handed," she said, a little shy. "The wine is for you if you drink, and I got cookies for Hannah, if that's okay." "Cookies are definitely okay." Ryan stepped aside to let her in. "Hannah, Miss Celeste is here." Hannah came running from her room wearing the yellow dress again, apparently her official fancy dinner outfit. She threw herself at Celeste like a mother and daughter reunion she had shown the night before, and Ryan watched Celeste's face as she hugged his daughter, saw the raw need there, the longing for connection. Dinner was chaotic and perfect. Hannah insisted on showing Celeste how to properly twirl spaghetti on a fork, demonstrating with exaggerated movements that made sauce splatter. Celeste laughed, really laughed, head thrown back, eyes bright with joy, and it was the most beautiful sound Ryan had ever heard. After dinner they painted. Hannah had insisted, and Celeste agreed readily, sitting on the floor in her nice jeans with a pad of paper and watercolors. She painted surprisingly well, creating a delicate scene of the house with its fields and the greenhouse. "You're good at this," Ryan observed, sitting beside her while Hannah worked on her own masterpiece. "I used to paint all the time before." Celeste added shadows to her house with careful brushstrokes. "That's a generous assessment." She looked at him, then back at her painting. Ryan worried. "Of course." Hannah announced that her painting was finished, and they turned their attention to her work. "It's beautiful, sweetheart," Ryan said. "It's our puppy house," Hannah said. "And Miss Celeste is there because she found the house, Daddy. Ask her if she doesn't want to come live with us there." Celeste's hand squeezed Ryan's over the table, then released. But that moment of contact said everything words couldn't. They put Hannah to bed together, taking turns reading pages from her book. Celeste sat on one side of the bed, Ryan on the other, and Hannah's eyes fell closed, safe between two adults who cared about her. When they left Hannah's room, closing the door softly behind them, the energy between them had changed. They were alone now. "I should go," Celeste said, but she didn't move toward the door. "You keep saying that." Ryan took a step closer. "But you're still here." "I know." She looked up at him, her eyes searching his face. "The truth is, I don't want to go. I don't want to go back to that empty mansion and pretend this didn't happen." "Then stay." Ryan took courage and said to Celeste, "Come live here with me. Remember when we used to stay up for hours talking about everything?" "I remember," Celeste said. "Do you really want to live with me, Ryan?" "And Hannah?" "Yes. Well, life had other plans." "Really?" "She needs a female reference. She's liking you, Celeste." She laughed. Ryan extended his hand, tucking a strand of blonde hair behind her ear. Celeste's eyes filled with tears. "I want to believe that." "Then believe it." His hand held her face, and she leaned into his touch the same way she had done the night before. "What if what I want isn't realistic?" Her voice was almost weak. "What if I want to go back years and recover everything that was stolen from me? We can't go backward, but maybe we can go forward. Together, and then, tomorrow I'll be moving to your house, Ryan. Now there's no point in wanting to withdraw the invitation, right?" She smiled, and they sat on the couch. They talked for hours, filling in the gaps of the years they had left blank. Around 2 in the morning, Celeste fell asleep on his shoulder. Ryan didn't move, didn't want to disturb her. He stayed there with her weight against him, feeling more content than he had been in years. She woke up an hour later, disoriented and embarrassed. "I'm sorry, I didn't mean to fall asleep." "It's okay." Ryan helped her sit up. "You needed the rest. When was the last time you really slept through the night?" "Honestly, I can't remember. Years, maybe." The next day, Celeste became a constant presence in their lives. Ryan found himself falling in love with her again, but differently this time. As teenagers, it had been intense and desperate, rebellious hormones. Now it was slower, deeper, built on conversations while washing dishes and watching her braid Hannah's hair with surprising skill. They hadn't kissed yet. Both were very aware of what was at stake: Hannah's heart, the complicated reality of their different worlds. But Ryan could feel it. On a Saturday morning, Celeste was sleeping in Hannah's room. He was making pancakes. Celeste smiled when she saw Ryan holding the pancakes. When she woke up, she seemed more beautiful. Hannah was by her side, also sleeping. When she woke up and saw the pancakes, she broke into a smile. "Let's eat, Daddy. Will Celeste stay here with us every day, Daddy, please?" Celeste and Ryan still hadn't explained to Hannah that Celeste was going to live with them, and Ryan finally at that breakfast told about who Celeste was when they met in the past. 3 hours later, Ryan stopped his Harley in the driveway of the white colonial house, Hannah sitting behind. Celeste had called the two of them to go to the colonial house. "What are we doing here?" Hannah said. "I want to show you two something." Celeste took Hannah's hand, then another hand for Ryan. He took it, feeling her fingers. "Come." She led them to the back of the house, to the greenhouse where they had left the butterfly weeks ago. Ryan had thought it was dead. Butterflies don't live long, and that wing had been seriously damaged. But when Celeste opened the greenhouse door, there it was, perched on a flower they had left for it. Its wings, including the previously damaged one, spread wide and perfect. "She healed," Hannah said, pressing close to the glass to see better. "Daddy, she healed." "I bought the house," Ryan said. "I bought it for you and Hannah. The papers are ready. The deed is in my name, free and clear. No mortgage." "You what?" "And there's more. Now you'll help us make it a home, as a family." Celeste's face crumbled, tears streaming down her cheeks. "Are you serious?" "Yes." Ryan pulled her close finally, after weeks of careful distance. She fit against him perfectly, her face buried in his chest, her body trembling with sobs. "Yes, I'm serious. I'm done pretending this is just friendship, Cel. I'm done pretending I don't feel what I feel." She pulled back just enough to look up at him, her face wet with tears. "What do you feel?" "Everything. I feel everything for you." Ryan held her face in his hands, his thumbs wiping away her tears. "Are you sure?" "I've never been more sure of anything." She covered his hands with hers. "I love you, Ryan Walker. I loved you when I was 15, and I love you now, and I'm done pretending I don't. I love your daughter as if she were mine. I love your integrity and your kindness and the way you are." He kissed her. Finally, after weeks of wanting and waiting, he closed the distance and kissed her the way he'd been dreaming of since she came back into his life. Her lips were soft and salty from tears, and she made a small sound of surprise before kissing him back. When they finally separated, Hannah was laughing and said, "Daddy, finally. I've been waiting for you two to kiss." They both laughed, dizzy. Celeste fell to her knees, opening her arms, and Hannah ran to them. "Does this mean you're going to stay forever?" Hannah asked against Celeste's shoulder. "Like stay? If you'll have me," Celeste said, playfully looking up at Ryan. "Yes," Hannah said, her voice hoarse with emotion. "We're going to be a new family." The butterfly chose that moment to fly, its healed wings carrying it up and out through the open greenhouse door. They watched it in the blue sky, a flash of wings in the distance. Some things, Ryan thought, really could heal. Some things really could become whole again, given time and care and the courage to try. 6 months later, Ryan was in the backyard of his house. His house, still strange and wonderful to think, watching Hannah play with Luna, the golden retriever puppy they had adopted last month. Celeste was in the kitchen, visible through the large windows, preparing dinner and singing off-key to music only she could hear. They were waiting for the new family member. Ryan was going to be a father to a boy. Celeste was 3 months pregnant. The cafe bookstore, Morrison's, she had named it, reclaiming the name her father tried to erase, was scheduled to open next month in a renovated space downtown. Ryan had helped her design the layout, had built most of the shelves himself in the garage that now served as his motorcycle workshop. And so the story ends. We must always seek happiness and never lose faith, because that's what we were created for. Until the next story, like and subscribe to the channel.